an unlawful gathering. This is an unlawful gathering. The truth is out there. The truth is out there.
This is the underground. This is new media. This is the underground. This is new media.
Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar. Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar.
And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers. And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers.
This is New York Rangers hockey. 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 This is New York.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Blue Shirt Underground Show. We briefly interrupt your summer for this important announcement. My name is Jim, and as always, I'm joined on the other side of the window by the one and only Eddie Geik. Wow, woman, oh, woman. What's going on, Eddie? How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing great, man. What a day. What a weekend. Beautiful outside where I am. And not so beautiful. Some other people's weekends weren't as good.
There's Gerard Gallant at home on a Saturday. Just had his breakfast. Maybe going out, trim the hedges, going to cut the grass. Thinking about his summer. Chris Drury calls. Ring. Ring. You're fired.
You're fine.
Rangers and Gerard Gallant mutually agreeing to part ways. That was the official word.
Yeah. Well, my first thing is...
That happened to me a few times in high school. I had a few girls that mutually agreed to part ways.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because my friend John took about 2 months to work up the courage to ask this girl to go out with him. He never went on a date with him. He just asked, I don't know, it was a weird thing. Like he says, would you go out with me and be my girlfriend? She said yes. And they didn't see each other for the rest of the year. Like they would pass each other the whole
They're still together. For all he knows, they're still together.
Yeah. I said, you married. You didn't get Vicky Malvano's consent.
Right. So apparently what happened, Eddie, with the story that's coming down, and we all heard a little bit about this, that there was some disagreements during this disastrous series after Game 4, this disastrous series against the Devils. There was some disagreements between the coach and the GM and screaming matches, according to numerous sources. And then I guess the exit interviews that didn't go well with the players, and just as they doomed in the great John Tortorella back in 2012,
after they lost to the Bruins in the playoffs, I think.
Yes, they have
Unceremonious.
doomed Gerard Gallant, and the Rangers have mutually decided to part ways, and I don't think there was anything mutual about it. There he is, as is now a Blue Shirt Underground tradition, where the fired, and unfortunately this happens a lot. I mean, This is the third one of these in 6 years that the one and only Joe Catroni has come up with for us. Again, first it was AV catching the train out of town, then it was David Quinn catching the train out of town, and there is Gerard Gallant on the train of no structure, the no plan limited, running daily between New York and
yes, he's gonna be widening the whales.
I'm a hobo now. So it doesn't sound like Eddie. It does not sound like, I mean, that the Rangers intended to necessarily mutually part ways with the head coach when the season was over. But I guess after the exit interviews, that was when they made their decision that
Well, Jim,
this had run its course, as they say.
okay. The majority, first of all, I'm still stunned that the Rangers are out. I this for some reason, the sucker punch, the punch to the gut. I'm still a little bit stunned. The Devils won today. Until the Devils, I told you this we said this on the last show. For me, until they're out, I can move on. But until they're out, I cannot move on from this, which is showing me, to me personally, that this is somewhat almost as bad as the Tampa loss, which we've discussed. The Game 7 of the Tampa, the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals, in which the Rangers lost in Game 7
At home.
At home. So I'm still reeling, and I think there is a failure. Let me just start off with the failure of the New York media, that all this shit was going on and no one had the story. Elliot Friedman's up in Canada. Apparently, Gallant almost got fired once or twice during the season.
I think they're afraid to report this stuff.
What is
I really
that?
do. The Molly Walkers and the Vince Burkott, I think they're afraid to report it. I really do.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. Do they fear for their jobs? I don't know. But even Larry Brooks didn't have it. What's Larry afraid of? Larry had no inkling. Larry had no inkling back in December that there were rumors around this team. He's got Sather's ear, and he hadn't heard anything.
Maybe Sather doesn't know shit.
Is Sather alive?
I don't know. Could be kept alive by that same thing that Boba Fett is being regenerated in that little tank there. I have no idea why. I mean, this is New York City. I mean, we're supposed to have the best of the best, but these journalists didn't have. They just took what Gallant said and just that was it. Nobody, the janitor, the fucking, to say, you know what, there's got to be a leak. There's leaks everywhere.
And I don't. Why is it just the hockey team? The baseball teams, we know every sordid tale that goes on with both of the Yankees and the Mets. If there's any kind of trouble, if there's discourse, we hear about all of it. Giants and Jets, we hear about all of it. I don't pay a lot of attention to basketball, and so I really don't. I can't speak to basketball. But if something's going on with the Knicks or the Nets, with the Nets, I guess they had all those malcontents that they tried to build a championship with, right? It all went south. I mean, there was plenty of talk about how poorly that was all going. So what is it about the hockey team? What is it about this hockey team that everything is so secretive that everybody's afraid to speak up? Like Rock said, are they really that afraid of being Obernowered? Which was a story that I guess we semi broke way back when, because I talked to Michael Obernower at the draft and he had written a very unflattering article about the regime, and then told me personally, because I asked him about it, and he said he had been squeezed out by the organization, and that guy was gone. He was gone from the Daily News, gone from hockey. It took him like 5 years to resurface.
Yes. I don't understand.
So
So
I don't know.
as a
Elliot,
fan,
how does Elliot Friedman know all of this? Where is he getting it from?
of course, now I see people, well, he has back channels and all that bullshit. Okay, that's fine. But he covers every team. You're a beat writer for one team. You're there
Right.
every day, every practice.
Right.
You're filming the practices so the opposition can watch them. You're doing everything. And it's giggles, smiles, and laughs at those press conferences. Gerard, who's going to start?
Yeah.
Sheshki.
I'm fine.
Now, as far as Gerard Gallant goes, I've seen, now I know Sean McCaff is a guy, he's been a big proponent of Gallant.
Yes, he has.
That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I've seen there's been a lot of people are like, why'd they fire him? I mean, how about you can't fire the whole team, obviously. That's a cliche. You can't fire the team until they fire the coach.
Right.
Who are you going to bring in that's going to be able to get these guys to play the right way? But I don't understand. You got the GM of a team clashing with the coach of a team in New York City, and nobody's got this story. Nobody.
What I think is I mean, it's all very strange. I mean, these two, whatever falling out they had, this was Drury's handpicked guy. This was the guy. This guy kicked off the Chris Drury regime, and obviously, again, how much did they really look into this guy and see if they could work together, if they were going to work together, if they had a common goal besides just winning? You know what I mean? Because there've been, now there's all kind. I mean, there's little stories that they didn't. They were getting along during the season. There were arguments during the season, and I guess Gallant's comments after Game 7 weren't too well received. And then whatever it was, the players said, and the players, at this point, I have read in several places that the players are taking this loss very seriously as a learning. A learning opportunity. They're going to learn from this. They're going to grow from it. You know what? Talk to me next May. Talk to me next May. Because I don't care if you get 140 points next regular season.
Well, the great Joe Cacciardi asked us who were the beat reporters. I think we all know. You got your Molly Walker. You got your Vince, the Wince, as Sean calls him, Wince Mercogliano. You got what? Arthur Staple, right?
Right.
You got Larry Brooks, dancing Larry Brooks.
And Arthur Staple and Larry Brooks are the only ones I really read on a regular basis. Arthur Staple, despite his Islander background, he does know the game. And I have reason to I feel like he's got a certain amount of credibility. Same thing with Larry. I don't agree with everything Larry says. And I know Larry's just writing some, he's coming up with some stuff for clicks or whatever. And Sean, I'm the first one to say he had no system, no structure, no nothing. And what does that say about Drury? It just says to me that they went after the name. They went after the name. They went after the bright, shiny toy in the coach. They saw a coach who, had taken an expansion team to a Stanley Cup final, and he was the name that was out there. And this team can't resist the name, which is why don't be surprised if Darryl Sutter is the next head coach of the New York Rangers. I hear he is not a candidate, but would that surprise you? Would that surprise you? Would anything surprise you?
No.
I'm not surprised at anymore.
No.
Nothing they do surprises me anymore.
I can't even get into who's going to be the coach right now. I'm still stunned from the loss.
I'm over the loss.
I'm not.
I'm over the loss.
Because what they're going to do is now they got a big gap at right wing now after, Kane and Tarasenko.
And I'll tell you, I'm sorry.
ahead.
Can I interrupt you? Can I interrupt you for some Patrick Kane talk?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't remember when the last time we were on. I don't remember. I guess it was after the interviews, wasn't it? Again, I'm going to ask the question. If Patrick Kane is standing up before the media and telling them that he's not healthy and that if I was healthy, things might have gone better, why was he ever traded for? If he's telling you I'm not healthy, then that's on the GM. The coach is on the GM. This roster structure is on the GM. I mean, the coach.
Certainly.
Look, I didn't like this coach. I didn't like when they hired him. He's gone. It is what it is. I'm not gonna dance on his grave. I never felt this guy was a good coach. And as far as I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, everybody wants to talk about adjustments and it's all bullshit." No, adjustments are part of coaching. This guy was not an X's and O's guy. He's a let the players play. He doesn't go in the locker room. I'll repeat that again. Doesn't go into the locker room. I know I said it the other night. They asked him, "You're going to give a speech before Game 7? What do I have to do that for? I haven't done that in 2 years." Okay. No speech to the team. No structure. No adjustments. No nothing. He was just there to make sure the pucks were frozen. As far as I could tell, that was his sole job. It is time to move on.
Well,
it's time to move on.
I'm interested in the people that didn't want him fired. Why they didn't want him fired? What were the pluses of Gerard Gallant? Now, again, I'm with you 100%. I said, what does he do? I really still don't know. Can't tell you what he does.
I can tell you what he doesn't do. He doesn't coach the New York Rangers anymore.
Right.
His regular season record, meaningless.
I mean, the Rangers
had in the regular season.
There were like 13 teams that had like 50 wins or whatever the stupid stat there were. So, yes, his Looney Tunes connection wasn't positive.
Joe Catroni predicts that Rick Bowness will be the next coach of the New York Rangers.
Did he get fired?
No, but he believes that is forthcoming.
Oh.
I understand, Rock, but they've gone as far as they could go with Gerard Gallant.
I mean, the window.
Fundamentally, we are in agreement. The regular season gets more and more meaningless year after year. Just get in.
Well, especially after you've got like a top team. The regular season don't mean shit. It means you got to wait fucking 4 or 5 months before we play meaningful games. And wasn't the fact that they were discussing getting rid of him, as reported by our Canadian press?
Right. Oh, this is a great term right here.
Oh, okay.
Joe DeVita. I like that. He's
that.
a honeymoon coach. He's the breath of fresh air type coach, which is what he was because players felt beaten down by David Quinn. His heavy-handed style had gotten didn't seem to be working. So they brought the breath of fresh air in, and we keep rotating between, players coach to ham-fisted or whatever you want to call it.
Ham-handed.
Ham-handed. We go from Rennie to Torts to AV to David Quinn to Gallant. So does that mean the next one's a taskmaster?
So apparently, during the season, during these ebbs and flows, come on, guys. I mean, let's be honest. The Rangers weren't that great this season. They frustrated us a lot. It was frustrating to watch them. So, the bad starts. As Jim has said, before the ice is even melted and you drink, you sit down and it's 1-0. They were in a funk to begin with. They got a little better and they got a little worse. So many overtime games. Couldn't seal the deal. We saw it was problematic. and they never pulled the trigger. They got hot at the end. Igor figured it out. So I guess it was like, well, we got Igor, so that's right. Don, you're right. The losses to Columbus, San Jose, Chicago, Anaheim. But I can't think of a replacement right now. Again, the way it's shaped up with these playoffs, man, they could have fucking really had a chance at the Stanley Cup. Had they shown up, because come on, the players got to have some culpability in this.
I agree wholeheartedly, but
how come they didn't take the stance? You know what? This guy's an asshole. We don't like him, but let's prove him wrong. Let's go out there and show some effort in Game 7. It was pathetic.
I don't know. A lot of don't get me wrong. There's look, as there usually is with this franchise, with this organization, there is plenty of blame to go around. Everybody gets a slice of this pie right now, except the fans who know everything. Except the fans. The fans know everything.
Well, there are a lot of fans that are on Gallant's. They're like, hey, this guy won 50 games. Look at this. He's the all-time point leader for like the first 2 seasons as a coach. Why they get rid of him? He's a winner.
Congratulations.
You're fired.
Well,
congratulations, you're fired.
Congratulations, you're fired.
And so I understand. Like you said, there's plenty of blame to go around. There he is. Gerard Gallant. And
I just feel I kind of feel like maybe a little bit of it. I mean, I just think they'd gone as far as they could go. I think for whatever reason, him and Drury just decided we can't work together anymore. Whether it's who knows what that screaming match was about. Is it about the makeup of the team? Is it about him? Is it about them not being ready to play night after night after night?
Well, I don't know. Aaron, what do you speculate the friction was? Was it his laissez-faire way of handling the media and not really calling out the team and not really, or was it something that was happening on the ice?
I don't think Jerry liked the makeup of the roster. And I just think that, again, Kane, he didn't know, he couldn't find what worked with these parts this year. Last year, the guys they brought in at the trade deadline, it all worked. It all worked perfectly. This year, not so much. Oh, the next letter's coming, Gio. Don't worry. The next letter's coming. Dear suckers. Dear suckers. We're only going to increase ticket prices 12% next year because of our disappointment. Absolutely, Sean. I think everybody looks bad in this situation. The players look bad, the GM looks bad, and the coach, the former coach looks bad. I think everybody looks bad.
As usual. Embarrassment. If there were Stanley Cups for embarrassment, we'd be the Montreal Canadiens.
And if you guys have been around a long time, I'm not one of these guys that I don't do a lot of fire the coach screaming. I was on Gallant's case early in the season when things started off really bad, and I did say I thought they should make a change. Yes, back in December. Yes, right off a Stanley Cup an Eastern Conference final run. I just didn't like the way they came out in the season. But David Quinn getting fired, that surprised me. We all knew AV was getting fired the minute that letter went out because that was representing, at least at the time, a change in the direction of the organization, which lasted about 4 months. And Tortorella was kind of a surprise, and I did say, it was time for him to go because he had run its course. But I'm not one of these guys that always shouts for a coach to be fired.
No,
But
I mean,
I was just never a Gallant fan because I just didn't see what he did. All I know is, like Sean is saying, we went into last summer celebrating, feeling pretty damn good about where the franchise was, where they were going. I feel none of that now. I don't care who they hire for coach. It really doesn't matter right now.
Well, and also he was criticized, I think, in most of the losses, not calling timeouts, leaving timeouts on the board, so to speak. Again,
just not what I'd call a hockey mind. Just, he was no Fred Shiro. That's for, that's for sure.
Right. I don't know what the fuck he was saving them for.
Right.
I guess he can bring him to the next franchise that hires him.
He could use them now.
Yeah.
Right. Good point. Joe DeVita, yes. Tortorella got fired after the exit interviews. So did Gerard Gallant. Now, if you like omens, the year after that happened to Tortorella, the Rangers were in the Stanley Cup Finals, if you want to believe in that sort of thing. I think the Rangers have made me stop believing in those sorts of things.
I mean, so do you think Gallant didn't want Kane, or that when he got Kane, he felt like he had to play him and there was no other option?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I mean, for a GM to come down, and it's now 2-2. All right. The Rangers, of course, look terrible in those losses, but to come down and fucking and argue with your coach after it's only tied 2-2, there's got to be some serious friction there. And what could he? I'm just trying.
I mean, things had to be bubbling at that point, right? You can't.
Right.
It doesn't just all explode and go to hell at once, right? It's not like an episode of I Love Lucy.
I would love. Too bad again. We have no conscientious reporting in this fucking in this town that you could find out what it was. Because again, this is another phantom firing. There was a rift. We don't know what it is. It's kind of like that whole, and again, I hate to bring his name up because it's a trigger for some people, Vitaly Kravtsov thing with the whole jury undressing him. Did that really happen? I don't know. Was it all a dream? Who cares now?
Right.
I don't care now, but where's the reporting on this stuff? Was it the fact that maybe jury wanted to have Vitaly Kravtsov play and he never played? That would have made a fucking difference at all. I mean, after, he eventually was traded. But, I mean, I don't know is it jury wants more skill in there? To me, Gallant was more of a lunch pail guy. You had to play the right way. What's going on?
I'm laughing at Sean. 2023 belongs on the next poll. I already Morse coded my vote.
Well,
Bill Chadwick is here.
But see, Bill's seen a lot in his life.
Bill has.
I
Bill's
don't
seen
know.
it all.
He's seen it all.
He's seen it all.
I think a lot of people who are not on the pulse of this, like everybody here tonight in the chat room and on YouTube and stuff, was surprised that this guy got fired. The casual Ranger fan can't believe it. They solely put it on the Ranger players, which, hey, they're the ones on the ice.
Absolutely.
You gotta
I don't want anything, lest anybody think that just because I never wanted Gerard Gallant coaching this team in the first place and that And now that they've moved on, don't think that I think that all their problems are solved, because I know they're not. This is still a very flawed roster, full of no movement clauses and full of guys who essentially quit in this series. I mean, there are at least 8 to 10 guys who need to take a long look at the mirror at themselves before next season, and really think about how badly do they really want to win.
Well, they gave
So
us.
no, I don't think a coach just waves a magic wand and fixes all of this. And I won't trust this team until I see some playoff moxie or chutzpah or whatever you want to call it, gumption.
But how does it go from all the gumption you could no quit in New York last year to
they posted that bullshit on social media 2 days after the series was over. I just responded with LMAO.
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here with your bogus fucking bullshit corporate slogans. Win a goddamn series. Get out of here. No quit New York. It's all quit New York.
How many people are going to get that jersey with all those players' names on it? A season to remember.
A team so special they made a T-shirt.
Is Gallant's name on that shirt?
His face is right in the middle.
Oh God!
That Wascally Wabbit.
There'll be some
Right
kids
in the middle.
There'll be some kids in Zimbabwe wearing them, like for those. The guy doesn't win the presidential election or the elections. They sent them to charities. That's where that shirt's gonna wind up. I would love to see somebody wear that shirt. I would probably wear that shirt just as a joke. Well, that didn't help either. The press conferences did not
Just see a bunch of those little Swahili kids in Africa running around in no quit New York shirts, all doing the dance.
Yeah,
no quit New York T-shirts are getting here tomorrow.
Nothing but quit.
Yeah,
I don't know how that team
hockey's
goes.
different here, all right.
Oh. They still kept pushing those shirts here. The Rangers were getting eliminated.
Right. Sam was still selling them with 5 minutes to go, down 3-0. A team so special they had to make a T-shirt.
Just how does a team go from like backs against the wall, multiple series, to just shit the next year in the playoffs? I mean, no effort. Absolutely zero effort in the Game 7. That's how I'm going to remember it. Maybe it was a little bit different. Maybe they had a period in there. I don't know. They couldn't solve Akira Smith. Then the guy gives up fucking like 10 goals in 2 games. So I don't know.
Give it a break.
For Gallant, to me, it doesn't matter because you're still stuck with the same bozos. You fired him, okay, you fired him. But there's something, like you said, it's a very flawed team, I think.
I mean, what does it tell you about a coach who gets fired 3 times with a winning record? 3 times.
As one great man said, Jim, he's a honeymoon coach.
He's a honeymoon coach.
Yeah.
I love that.
I saw it today.
I love that.
I love it. He's on it. He's got a shelf life, but it's shorter than, well, it's 2 years and call a cab. He's got to do that walk of shame they talk about. Maybe he's just very he doesn't like criticism. I know that much. Because I feel like the press would walk around eggshells with him. They didn't want him to pop off.
Right.
They had to always joke, bring all the questions. Well, Gerard, who's going to be in that tonight? Well, you'll know when the game starts. It'll be set. Oh man, I don't know.
I had, again, when they interviewed him, Larry brings it up in the chat, and I'll mention it again. When he brings up a day after the series is over, I'm fine, and he's sitting there laughing. I mean, come on. Every fan I know is in the dumper, and this guy's, again, doing a 10-minute set of Catch a Rising Star.
Even if you don't believe it, say it.
Right.
And I think we made this analogy like an NFL coach.
Tell me it hurts.
Tell
Point
me
to where the bad man hurt you.
who's your guy over there at the Giants that a coach?
Brian Daboll.
All right. Steve Sable, the guy who used to run NFL films.
The best.
Brian Daboll, right?
Love
That's
him.
a stand-up guy. They lost in the first round this year, right? Yeah. They lost the first playoff game.
Second. No.
I'm sorry.
Made
Oh,
it
they
to the
won. Okay,
divisionals.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that. My fault.
Come on now.
I'm sorry. I want to give you credit. I'll give you credit.
Gallant is Tanner hitting on the look at Tanner. Gallant is spoiled milk.
Oh, wow. All right. I like it. He comes out. They lose. It's on me. I didn't do enough to get this team prepared.
Right.
It's on me. I am the one that he's like an all-encompassing protection shield around the team. He's saying it's my fault.
Right.
You never, ever got that from Gallant.
No, you remember when they were slumping badly before the holidays, and he said, because we talked about it on the show, when he said, "I'm doing my job."
Now,
Really?
Exactly.
I
In New York, you're going to give me that in New York?
Right.
We're the toughest fans. I mean, Boston, really tough fans, but this is a no-nonsense fucking town.
There's a guy I occasionally play Halo with. His name is Dino, and he's really good. And he's way better than everybody else. And every time you kill him, if he doesn't like it, he'll just go, "Really? Really?" So that's like Joe knows. That'll make Joe laugh. Really?
Really?
You're doing your job? Really?
And I think, and who knows, maybe that was the interaction he had with Drury. You give me the players. I'm doing my job.
I'm doing my job.
Well, are you?
Really?
Well, are you? And then you dumped in the first round. And he's still not taking. Again, if you don't believe it, just say it. You want to be around for another year?
Tanner coming correct tonight. Look at Gallant scrolling through TikTok while the Rangers are losing.
Wow.
That's what got him fired. He's on that TikTok.
Could be.
He's doing a TikTok dance.
I don't know what he's doing.
Well, Drury spoke to the media yesterday.
Oh, what did he say? I missed this. It was
Well, John is asking why is Drury in hiding. I don't think he spoke to the media last night. Hang on, let me see if I can find his. I don't know if it was a conference call or what. Let's see. I'm excited with our team. We have a lot of good players, Drury said on a conference call Saturday. We're all disappointed we're not playing. After having the exit meetings, it was good. No one wants to be left off the hook. Everyone this week has taken a good, long, hard look in the mirror. And then Arthur Staples said, Gallant and longtime assistant Mike Kelly had a system, and they did try to adjust. The Rangers showed in at least a couple of the games against the Devils that they can adhere to a system, that they can forecheck and stay patient in the neutral zone and adjust to a team that fuels itself off turnovers and rush chances, but it didn't last. Devils forward Nathan Bastian gave a damning assessment of the Rangers by way of complimenting the Hurricanes after game one. The Rangers like to cheat a little bit more than these guys. These guys, I think, all year they've had guys out of the lineup, missing bodies, and as a team, they're one of the best teams I've ever seen in this league.
Oh, the great Nathan Bastian put his seal of approval on the Canes. Well, I'll tell you, I've said this before. Rod Brindamore is a great X's and O's coach.
Right.
He can play that defensive. He can get his players to buy in and play. I never. Now, as far as Mike the Cop Kelly there,
Officer Mike,
right? That's from Abbott Costello, I think. Mike the Cop, Officer Mike. You can't convince me there was any system. You can't convince me there wasn't adjustments till way too late. They took that power play adjustment 3 games to get like, all right, let's try something different. But Gallant's gone, and now what? You got
lots of speculation.
You got a lot of speculation. You got a team that's, if Tarasenko, which doesn't look like it's going to come back, although he wants to come there, he is Mike the Cop. They had systems in place, him and Fudd.
Who knew we had a system?
I thought he just threw the guys out there. I was like, let them play.
Right.
We always
make sure the pucks are frozen.
I just feel like he never wanted to admit he was wrong. There was just something about him that was... He never wanted to give an inch of any kind of vulnerability for the fact that maybe it would give people some doubt in his coaching. But his coaching gave you enough, or non-coaching gave you enough to wonder what was going on. But as I said before, Artemi Panarin, where the hell were you? You're giving pucks away like they're, it's a free giveaway.
Like it's a playoff towel.
Adam Fox, who I thought, was flawless. Game 7 giveaway. One of the worst plays I've ever seen a defenseman make, probably since Dan Girardi did that giveaway in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Right.
I mean, like, Kreider, you said last week, -4. I looked at the face-offs. Filipino had the best face-off percentage. This guy couldn't win a face-off for shit.
Right.
Trocheck was not a factor on face-offs. How many offensive zone face-offs did we lose? And there's a lot of things. No sustained pressure, no forecheck, the third line, Lafreniere, no points, no assists, nothing, 0.0.
What did Kakko have? 1 goal, no assists? Hedel, 1 goal, right?
Yeah.
0.0.
And we're going to get all excited about the fourth line played well. I think the fourth line is the only line that would go out there and try to work, which, a fourth line is supposed to do. What about the other team? What about the other lines? And like Gio says, now we have no movement clause. They might as well rename the franchise a no movement clause Rangers.
Even Barclay Goodrow's got one. I didn't know that. I didn't know that till today. He's got a 15-team no move clause. Oh yeah, it's half the league.
But still, come on. But now you're looking at now as consistent. He's got to move up the lineup now. Now, I like Barkley as a fourth line player. I'm not sure about him on the second line. So Gallant's gone. The comedy fodder is gone for us, but we're still stuck with the comedy fodder, which is the team.
Right.
We got to sit through 82 fucking games of this shit again.
Right.
Just get back to another question mark.
I don't even know who I want to be the coach. I really
don't care.
I don't know. I know there's a lot of talk about Chris Knobloch coming up from Hartford. I guess I'd be okay with that. I know a lot of people are hot on Laviolette. I don't know. Another retread. Another guy that's been with 3 or 4 teams. I don't know. Right? Laviolette, he's coached a couple of teams, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Molly Walker brought up Bruce Boudreaux. Are you fucking kidding me? She should be fired for that.
Oh God, I didn't even hear that.
Larry Fishgold mentions Patrick Waugh.
I don't want
name.
him. No,
You don't want him either. I've heard his name.
He's a hot-headed fucking no.
Don't we need hothead? We need a few hotter heads around here.
Get Messier. Get Messier.
Messier.
A lot of people talking about
He won that
him.
Mustard Cup. He won the Spangler Cup.
He's a true leader. They want Messier. It comes up every time they fire a coach. It's Messier.
Right. Yeah. What about a guy I talked about a couple of years ago that I don't even think they talked to? Bob Hartley. Dr. Bob Hartley.
From Newhart?
Well, not the same one. No, I think.
Oh, okay. Yes. I haven't heard that guy's name in a while since you mentioned
coaching in the KHL, I think. I don't know.
I mean,
if they're ever going to make it work with the kid line, then maybe Knobloch is the guy. I don't know.
I know Hartford's doing pretty well in the playoffs. I think they're in the division final.
Headed for the finals, right?
Yeah.
The conference finals or whatever?
Yeah, they have the 2 divisions. I think they're in the Atlantic Division Finals. Something like that. And
what about Andrew Burnett? Another name I keep hearing.
I couldn't tell you one thing about Andrew Burnett except that he was a former Quebec Nordique. That's all I could tell you.
He was he took over the Panthers when Quenneville resigned. And I think he's an assistant with the Devils now. Had a DUI, but I think we can get past the DUI, right?
I don't think the Rangers can get past anything. And that brings up the
who was the guy that used to coach Ottawa that had the big bushy mustache? What the hell was his name? You remember that? And the guy used to sit right behind him at the games. Used to sit right behind him that looked just like him. Paul McLean. Was that his name?
Yeah, yes, Paul McLean. He used to have a lookalike behind them.
Right.
Well, since we're bringing up DUIs and controversy and scandals and drums, as the kids say today, which is short for drama.
Walrus.
The Walrus. I like that.
I am the Walrus.
That would be great if he got hired. We could play that every song.
Be a lifetime. That would be, we'd have another, 3 more years of humor. We'd have a great time with him.
We could do the Wilford Brimley bit with the diabetes. Right. Check your diabetes. Check it often.
Andy Reid.
But he, again, with the DUI, what was it? With Brunette who had the DUI, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now you've got Ranger fans making morale statements about they can't, if Joel Quenneville was somehow to get, kiss the ring of Bettman and get cleared. I don't want a coach who's morally bankrupt. And I've seen some of the people that are Patreons of this show have stated that. They don't want a guy who may or may have not hidden the fact that there was some sexual assault on one of his players just to get through the playoffs. Now, I'll ask Jim's opinion after I give you my thoughts on it. I don't know what happened. And I'm not playing dumb just because I think Joel Quenneville has the most experience at winning actual cups, not getting to the cup. The guy won cups, which apparently means paramount to this franchise. We got to get Tarasenko. He won a cup. We got to get Kane. He won multiple cups. We got to get this
Barclay
guy.
Goodrow won 2 cups.
He won 2 cups. Cups. So if they're going to hire a coach that's won multiple cups, had a great run with Florida last year after he had to resign. Not last year, the year before, I guess. Since we're already done with this year. At least the Rangers are. Panthers are still playing.
Right.
Why? I wouldn't, if he gets reinstated and it's good enough for the league and the Rangers want to hire him, I have no problem with it. Because I really don't care who they are. I think hiring Knobloch may make sense on some level. The Rangers are never going to promote within. They haven't promoted within since 1973. You think now they're going to change? They're going to do it?
Was that Larry Popine?
I think so.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, Tom Rennie was hired from what?
And I think Larry Popine coached like 40 games, and Emil said, "No, fuck this. I'll take over."
Right.
Which Emil did every time he hired somebody else to coach the team.
Maybe Drury. That's been GM coach never works.
The entire not since Shiro, not for this team.
Yeah. So I don't know how you guys feel. How do you feel about that whole thing? Is it morally right?
Look, if the league clears him, and apparently this completely rests in the purview of Gary Bettman. There's no panel. There's no commission that he goes. He just goes. This is all on Bettman. Bettman has the sole decision as to whether or not this guy ever works another day in the NHL. If he clears him, somebody's going to hire him. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just asking you, if he gets cleared and he's
guy,
available,
can the guy learn from his mistakes? I don't know. What happened was horrible. I don't. What happened was horrible. Did he know about it? That's what people say.
They say, I'm too worried about the playoffs. I can't worry about sexual assault. Come on. Right. I mean, I don't know if he really said that. I mean, that's pretty heavy if he did. But we don't know.
I guess it's not going to be up to me. So,
but I'm asking you.
And Larry Brooks said Quenneville will not be considered. So.
Oh, Larry Brooks knows shit. Stop telling me Larry Brooks has got a pipeline.
All right.
He's got a pipeline to a 90-year-old man who doesn't even know where he is. He's stuck.
He broke the news. He broke the news that Gallant was fired.
Big deal.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm just saying he does.
Everybody was on death watch with that guy.
All right. Next week on the show, Larry Brooks.
I don't want him on the show. Next show we do, whenever we do it.
We still have to do report cards.
Yeah. So I'll play you a clip where he's sitting. Larry Brooks is telling me, he's telling you and the fans at home that Keandre Miller had a really good season. Hey, Larry, did you watch any of the games? Because I'm the biggest supporter of Keandre Miller out there. And I can tell you, he stunk the joint up and he never recovered. He had a bad season. Do I think it's over for him? No. But he had a bad season. He had a bad playoff. He was bad before the spitting incident. So I got to believe Larry Brooks has got the pulse. Get the fuck out of here. Barry Trotz is the president of the Nashville Predators, he's not going to be stepping down as president to be coach of the New York Rangers. Well, before he's even started. They should have. And you know what? Danielle Stewart and Emily Travis were the only two people that viewing party during the season who was saying they got to fire Gallant and hire Barry Trotz. Now, I don't know if it's their hatred for Gallant or maybe they know something. But something's got to be done. Jared was saying that fire. Now you. What did I say at the time? I'm a results-oriented fan. They were winning, and that's all I care about. Well, after you get bounced that way in the playoffs, that was not the results I was hoping for. So just because Larry has the hotline to say this cabin in Banff where he's in some survivalist mode with his canned goods. So I have no. I think the Rangers will probably go with some guy who's got some track record. I don't think they would go to Chuck Knobloch, right away. But I don't know. I've heard that too. I've seen that around the interwebs. Still stunned. Stunned belief. And the fact that you had friction and the Rangers were continuing, like they've had a pretty good run the last 2 years. I mean, yes, they were disappointing in a lot of games last year.
Why is everybody so hot for Laviolette? He hasn't won a playoff round in 5 years because he won a Stanley Cup 20 years ago because that worked out so well with John Tortorella?
I don't know. I like Gordon Murphy, but I couldn't tell you a fucking thing about what he would do differently.
Audie Murphy?
I don't know. I don't even care. I just want somebody to fix this stuff.
What about Mike Keenan?
Iron Mike? I don't think he can take the fucking. He's
only 73.
He's a little bit bloated 73, my Iron Mike.
Head coach of the Italian men's hockey team.
Well, he ate a lot of pasta over there last time I checked. I'm not saying you got to be in shape to coach, but I think he's probably hung it up. And the Panthers have scored. So, I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, it looks like Laviolette is getting a lot of consideration.
From the fans, anyway.
Maybe because he played 2 games as a Ranger. And I was at one game too, Jim. He gave the puck away and it led to a goal. I said, this guy fucking sucks. I was like, this guy is terrible. But, those that can't do, teach, as they say. I don't want Patrick Waugh. He's a hothead. I don't know why Rangers fans.
12 games as a Ranger. 12 games in the NHL.
Right. But I don't want. Ranger fans seem to like when following a loss like this, they want a kick-ass coach. Is that really going to work with this team the way it's set up? A guy's going to be like Tortorella's demeanor. I don't think it works. This just in from John. Cammy Granado, the new coach.
Jeez.
So that's all I really have to say on the I can't even think about a coach right now. To me, it's like we're going to have problems going into this season. Now, listen, it's good to have the problems that we have. We only have a couple spots that need to be filled. There are teams like the New York Islanders who will not be good for the next 20 years because they salvaged all their picks. All their guys are 58 years old. They've had the same fourth line for 15 years. Their team is doomed. It makes me feel good. That's why I bring up the Islanders. Because they got nothing. Lou Lamoriello, you are a bum. Stop telling me Lou Lamoriello is good. Terrible. He re-ups guys at the age of 35. Get the fuck out of here. You bum. And I would take Gerard Gallant over Lane Lambert any day of the week. So, and then Kako came out and said he wants more time. What do you think about when a player says that?
What's he supposed to say? I want less time?
Didn't he get time in the beginning of the season on the power play and shit? So these knuckleheads, we can only play on one line. They all stink when they play on other lines. This year they stunk together in the playoffs.
That should be the first line next year.
Why not?
Why not? 16, 17 minutes a game under Coach Knobloch.
You know what? Play them on the first line. They can't cut it, then I don't want to hear no more whining. I don't want to hear any more bitching. No kvetching. Is it vetching or kvetching?
Kvetching.
Okay. My Yiddish is not as sharp as it once was.
Right.
I don't want to hear about it from Ranger fans if they get major minutes, because right now the regular season means shit. It's a means to an end to get to the playoffs. I don't want to. Shesterkin, and then Shesterkin came out. Now, did you see this? Where the reason he did not play well at the beginning of the season was nothing to do with his kid. Did you?
What did he say? I didn't hear this.
He said that he felt a lot of pressure to repeat the performance from last year, the Vezina Trophy year. That he was trying to be too perfect, and I'm not buying it. It was a fucking kid. I'm not buying it. But he got it together, and he promised next year from the get-go you're going to get what you saw in the playoffs. But does it matter? If you can't score, you're not going to win.
Right.
I don't know. That's what he said. I'm only reporting what he said here, folks.
Eddie doesn't write the news. He just reports it.
I just report it if I can remember it.
Right.
But I agree. It was that goddamn kid. I'm sorry. He's keeping him up at night. Do you buy? How about this? The team quit on the coach. Do you buy that? I mean, for a player. Now, I understand you're a professional athlete. You get paid millions of dollars to play this game competitively. But if you see the discord between the GM and the coach play out live in front of you, doesn't that affect you?
Sure. Of course it does.
So
we'll blame it on COVID, Sean.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Still feeling the after effects.
So to me,
going to be an interesting summer.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Whether they go with a firebrand, a shiny new toy, which they historically do,
Right.
or they go with somebody that's kind of under the radar. Chris Drury has worked with Knobloch before when he was the GM of the Wolfpack.
Right.
So maybe he's more of a yes man. Maybe that's what he wanted. I don't know. So who knows? Only the shadow knows. But Elmer Fudd is no more. Duck season, wabbit season, fired season, fired season. So, what happens after this? I just want to shout out to Sean. I read Sean, Blue Collar Blue Shirts. He did his grades for the playoffs. I think they were spot on. I think you should read it, all of you guys. If you want to revisit the playoffs, which I understand if you guys don't want to, I thought it was. I was in pretty much agreement with everything. Not that matters, but I thought it was really good. It's better than these fucking beat reporters. You might as well be an opinion-based a reporter. It's like, you know what it is? It's like the regular news. People watch their opinion-based things depending on what they think. The regular news, no one gives a fuck about. Whether it's fake or real or whatever. The real news, nobody gives a shit. They only tune in for a fucking shooting or there's a tornado. That's it. There's no hard questions. There's no real reporting. That's what MSG Network is. It's all a big promotional factory. Let's laugh along with the coach. I'm surprised.
One big happy family.
Yeah. It's like, why don't they have Mercogliano fucking selling shirts outside fucking the fucking No Quit New York? Might as well say, have Molly fucking, hawking Kane jerseys outside. They sold out. Everybody who bought that jersey's a dummy, by the way.
Sean McCaff bought one.
Oh, you did? Sorry.
Take it back.
I take it back. So why'd you go out and buy that jersey? Well,
We can ask him, but he won't come on the show.
He'll come on.
He does other shows.
We got a lot of things planned for the summer. So
Do we?
We got Ranger history to go through.
Oh God!
I'm sorry.
Again?
I mean, I'm not saying. I'm being facetious when I say big plans. We're not going away. We're not going away for 10 years like Kotze and coming back and said, "Oh yeah, we've been doing this for 13 years." Yeah, where were you? I haven't seen you since 2010, you morons.
We got to do our report cards. We haven't done them yet.
Yeah.
If I'd have done them, like I said, if I did them last week, everybody gets an F.
Oh yeah.
So we'll figure out when we're coming back. Later this week.
Yeah. We'll play it by Isery. Isery. I saw the bracket of misery pop. Well, I'm bringing out the wheel of blame for the next show. I can tell you that much.
All right. Everybody loves the wheel of blame. We haven't seen it's been too long.
Yeah, Connor, you're the only maniac that blamed Igor for the playoffs, by the way. I got to say that.
What's that?
I said that Connor was the only one who intimated that Igor was responsible for the playoff loss.
Oh, yeah.
You're a total mental patient.
Smoking that Chiba.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. Duguay disappeared because he's getting too Don Cherry with his outfits. You know what that guy was going to wear.
He's up in Alaska.
Yeah, he's up in Alaska. Yeah, see, by that statement, you didn't only blame him. The fact that he's even anywhere in the blame section. Are you trolling me like I troll those Carolina fans who couldn't?
Hall of Fame line. Here's the Hall of Fame line.
The Hall of Lame. Oh, God. Yeah, I can't use that. I don't think I'll be going back to Carolina. Why would I? I don't even.
Next year.
I don't even want to see this team anymore. Like, I don't want to see the Rangers.
Right.
It's again.
I got a nice summer plan, and then they go and fire the coach, and then there's going to be all kinds of. Summer's going to be littered with their bullshit.
You're right.
Hiring coaches, trading players, making bad trades, drafting guys 3 rounds too early.
Ridiculous contracts.
Right.
What about just to
10 years, $80 million for Patrick Kane? That's coming.
Oh, he's healthy now.
Trading Keandre Miller for Jonathan Taze, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. No, but what do you think?
Just wait till Kane is reunited with Taze. That would be the Rangers. That would be Espo and Hodge all over again.
Could you put me down for that jersey? The jersey to be remembered. Molly Walker could. They got to put those. If you're going to be part of the fucking KGB, the whole fucking factory over there, then put them all to work. They're not reporting. They're in the chuckle patch with fucking Gallant for 2 years. Let them do something that's real.
Right.
Now, I'll tie this all up. Well, I won't tie it up, but the other thing is swirling is Lafreniere or Laughingstock, whatever you want to call them, going to Montreal. Is this something that you foresee? He's got to be signed, right? Doesn't he? He's not signed yet.
Yeah, I believe he's an RFA or just an FA, a fucking asshole, or I don't know. I don't know. I think he's an RFA.
All right.
You can get one of them bridge deals. Give him like $500,000 for 4 years, and we carry him over.
Because I see some crazy shit on the internet.
I know.
And down Panarin.
I don't know where that trade came. He's going to go to Montreal for a first-round pick. I don't know who made that up.
Well, he was drafted by Jeff Gordon, right?
Right. Does he want all his draft picks back? I mean,
I wouldn't want them all. Most of them didn't pan out.
Take Marty St. Louis as our coach. How about that?
There's a good guy. So I'm sure we'll get to it the next time we join you people.
Ranger legend Marty St. Louis.
Guy had heart, man. You talk about a team that could use a veteran presence with some heart, like a leader.
No, you're right, Joe. You're right, Joe. Not Schneider. I want Schneider here. I want Matt Robertson on this team next year.
Yeah, I think they always start off with like the project guy. 2 years ago it was Niels Lundqvist. Then it was Zach Jones early in the year. That didn't work. Why not bring up Matt Robertson next year? Pair him with Schneider. See what happens. I don't know lefty, righty from what. Everyone loves Braden Schneider, but he didn't score in like 40 games. I mean, I like his play. He came up.
He had more playoff goals than Lafreniere.
That's true. That's your measuring stick.
Well, hey, it's got to be worth something.
I mean,
I just like him because I think he's good at his job. He's a good defenseman. I don't care how much he scores. He's not there to score.
Well,
I don't care.
He's got some offensive upside. He's a good leader. I'm not bagging on him, but I'm just saying the bar is real low right now for who's good and who's not.
Right.
So that's my other. I like him. I got my $5,000 worth of his rookie cards. Of course, I like the fucking guy. Okay, Jim. Well, enjoy.
That's all I got.
Enjoy your summer. I'll see you at the training camp.
On we go. A new era in Ranger hockey begins. The 18th new era of my life, of my era.
Wow. Oh, Mikkola, we can discuss him. I thought he played well. Like, I was down on him, and it took me a while. But he's decent, but he'll probably get more money somewhere. So,
Yeah, I think he'll wind up getting more money.
I saw Patty Duke said thanks, and I want to say, did you have anybody in the Derby yesterday, Jim?
No.
Not interested. No,
It's
you.
not that I wasn't interested. No, we watched it. Absolutely.
Oh,
Derby's a big deal in our house. But
I
we
was
did
going to
not bet.
say yes.
It's a good race. It's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It goes on too long now. It's like 6 hours of coverage. It's just like,
Well, and you know what I always say, 6-hour pregame show. They don't talk to one horse. They do all
That's
the
what
fucking
they
work. Nobody interviews a horse.
that's right. But
Robertson can replace Mikola in the lineup next year. We got to
Who is?
it's a new day.
I think it should be an open camp.
But every job is up for grabs.
Every job is up.
Right.
So, all right, my friend.
All right.
And
That's
my
all we
friend.
got. We'll come back, I don't know, later this week maybe and do report cards.
Yeah, definitely. I'll work on it. I'll actually have something written down.
All right. Sounds good. If there's I guess we'll figure out when to do report cards. If there's a coaching decision, we'll be back. Take care, everybody. Thanks for being here. Eddie, always a pleasure.
Take
And we will
care.
speak soon.
I love you. And
We love you guys.
We love you guys. And we'll be here if something happens.
That's it.
We
All
won't
right,
be
take
in
care.
5 minutes after it happens, which seems to be a trend now. Everybody's got to hop on the internet and break the scoop.
Right. Emergency podcast.
Yeah, emergency.
All right,
plan.
we
That
love
ain't
you
gonna
guys.
happen.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.